Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Beyond This, where we talk grounded spirituality for everyday use. Today's episode is something that I hold very close to my heart. It is talking about the unhealed healer. The unhealed healer that is quite happy to sit behind their computer, sit on video, give readings, but their own healing journey is getting in the way of them actually helping other people or themselves when we are so obsessed and so ego driven that we will put the attention of others on us rather than sit and work on what we can do for ourselves. It causes damage on both sides. And we see a lot of it, especially with the advent of social media. How has your week been, everyone? It's been, I'm not going to lie, I had to take a couple of days off. I just needed some downtime. I realized I hadn't had a weekend break or time to myself pretty much since January. It has been go, 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 go with one thing and another. And I think we get to the point sometimes when, okay, I need to close the studio door. I need to not be doing any work, whether it is business, whether it is readings, whether it is something on my Patreon. And I took a whole weekend off. I barely spoke to anybody. I just regrouped, did some lovely things around the house, did some baking, did some organizing, just enjoying myself, and then back to it yesterday. It's been a learning curve with me, with a full time assistant, and having to pass over a lot of stuff to Fiona. And she's learning. It takes time. Being in a new house, I've got renovations going on all the time. There's either a painter here or a builder or something. And I just had to take that step back and go, you know what? I'm going to regroup and have some time with Seamus. And we did a couple of long walks. I did some gardening. I did some cleaning, which is always cathartic, isn't it? I know cleaning is a pain in the backside, but it's always cathartic. So I am going to recommend to everybody out there, take the time, even if you are at the height of your career. Sometimes we just need 48 hours of no digital, no going on social media, none of that. And I'm going to say that I feel human again. So that has been good. We have seen lots of things go on. The prediction that I made about Iran not sticking to the ceasefire, whether it's the US or Iran, I felt that what was going on was very much a market manipulation. That has been the whole of Trump's MO since he came into power. It was market manipulation from the word go, which is sad when you actually realize it, and sad when you realize that there is no good side of politics. It has to change globally to get better. As always, we are going to be talking about some predictions that I've seen coming in at the end of the episode, some new predictions, and I will end the episode on a meditation, which people are loving. Let me know what you think in the meditations. Let me know if there's one in particular you would like me to write and record. I think that the meditations are really helping people understand that they have a lot more power than they think. So that seems to be going well. Um, I did have a bit of a wake up call this weekend, though. When I was looking at my own personal social media, I had this announcement come up that I had a Facebook page. Now, have I got a Facebook page? Apparently, it was connected to my Instagram, and everything that was going on my Instagram was automatically being loaded onto Facebook. Now, that means that I have a whole new audience because there was about already 3,000 followers, 2.5, 3,000 followers, and a lot of comments about a video that I put up last week. 2 weeks ago in my podcast episode, I spoke, was it 2 weeks or was it last week? I can't remember. I think it was last week. I spoke about an explosion in Victoria, that it would make world news. And 2 days later, there was an explosion in Geelong at an oil refinery that, of course, made world news because of what's going on in the world right now. That went up onto Facebook, and the amount of people that went, "Oh, you made this post afterwards. Uh, nice try, but the prediction, I want proof that this prediction happened." Go listen to the fucking podcast. Go listen to the podcast. I can't lie about the date the podcast is loaded up onto Spotify or onto Apple. But when you have a whole new audience, it's like you have to re educate people. And I'm still deciding whether I stay on Facebook or not because I'm not completely sure I like it. I'm not completely sure I like social media at all. But unfortunately, uh, it is the devil that we know. And people, I'm not sure if you can hear this, and I may leave this in the podcast, but Seamus is howling because a fire engine has just gone by. I may leave that for your joy. Um, I have to educate this whole new audience and about how I work and where I put my predictions and things, because Facebook again, they're used to instant gratification. But if you are here from Facebook, welcome. Uh, this is the podcast where I do a teaching every week, as well as predictions, as well as a meditation. And everyone is welcome. Exciting news as well. I got an email to say that I had hit number one in the Apple podcast charts for spirituality in Australia and in Singapore. And I'm hitting the charts in the Netherlands. Always exciting to get that news. And I'm like, am I really? But we are hitting so many new countries. And thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time out. It is just so lovely to receive new followers, and new interest, and those that are open to learning, because that is what I do. Right. Let's get into today's episode. And I want to talk about something that exists in every helping profession, but it's particularly relevant, I think, in spiritual spaces. And that's the concept that we have unhealed healers out there. And this is not about calling people out. It's not about criticizing anyone that is an individual. And it is not about saying, ha ha ha, you have more healing work to do, because we all have more healing work to do. We are a work in progress. I am a work in progress. You are a work in progress. And how far you have come is significant. But we should not be out there giving advice and saying that we are the knowledge of all, that we know everything, if we have not done some healing work ourselves. This is about responsibility, because when we work in spiritual fields, whether that is mediumship or psychic work, coaching, healing, energy work, manifesting, teaching, we are often working with people at very vulnerable points in their lives. People who come when they are grieving, when they feel lost, when they are searching for meaning, and when they want direction, and when they want reassurance. And in those moments, a practitioner holds influence, and influence is responsibility. And ability alone is not enough. Skills don't equal integration. One of the biggest misunderstandings in spiritual spaces is the assumption that if someone has ability, they must also have emotional maturity. But these two things are completely different. Someone can have very strong intuitive perception. Someone can have very strong psychic awareness. Someone can have genuine mediumistic ability and still struggle with boundaries, regulation, identity, projection, and needing validation. Ability does not automatically create self awareness. Ability amplifies what is already there. So if someone has not done their work, the role itself becomes a way of avoiding the work. Discernment is really empowering for people choosing a practitioner. And I think that it's really important to understand that discernment is not judgment. If somebody chooses someone different to me, that's not a slight on me. That's who they are drawn to, who they feel can help them better, who delivers a little softer than I do. I am not for everyone. And I make a point of saying that because I will call you out on your shit. But some people want a gentler approach. Discernment is not judgment, and discernment is not clarity. Discernment helps you find clarity. Discernment allows you to recognize what feels grounded and what feels performative, what feels stable and what feels reactive, what feels empowering and what feels disempowering. What I see on a daily basis is practitioners who are incredibly dysregulated in their own lives, who may hop from one thing to another because it makes them feel good. It quenches a thirst. It puts a band-aid on a situation. What I see is practitioners with a lot of projection passing on what they think about certain situations, religious situations, personal information. Now, I will share small amounts of personal stories, but my personal journey is nothing to do with anyone else. I don't need to trauma dump on my followers or my clients. I don't need to talk about my own personal story unless it is relevant to what I am trying to portray or pass on. I see practitioners talking about their own personal trauma and using it as a weapon for sympathy. I see practitioners holding followers responsible for behavior. We teach boundaries, we should keep boundaries. And when people say, oh, you're just bitter when I make a video, no, I'm not, I'm teaching. There's a teaching moment in everything that I do. Um, I really think that if you are a practitioner in a spiritual modality, then by all means take people along your healing journey, but don't project and give advice until you have worked on your own healing. Because I don't want to be taking advice from someone that hops from one thing to another. I don't want to be taking advice to someone that doesn't self regulate. I am not going to take advice or take anyone seriously if they can't stick to something. And I am also not going to take advice from somebody on a social media platform that loses it with their followers on a regular and bitter way. What I will say is that if you are choosing to do this work, it takes a lot out of us. It really does. I took the weekend off to spend a bit of time with myself. It can be incredibly exhausting and it can be incredibly thankless. I don't do this for thanks, but we have to be prepared for the way that it can affect our own self regulation if we don't set boundaries. And if we become obsessive about our opinion being better than everyone else's, and don't differentiate between our thoughts and what's coming from spirit, then you can cause a lot of damage. And we really need to go into this with a do no harm mentality. I've also seen people working in the psychology space. I don't remember the name of this particular person, but she does a lot of women empowerment work on social media. She is Australian. Um, and the male hate that comes out of there, and it's all men, is absolutely deplorable. I'm not saying that we can trust all men, but the automatic, the man is wrong mentality that she gives is actually going the opposite way from misogyny. And I I caution anyone that does that. But please take care of yourself if you are working in this field. Make sure that you have a regular sleep hygiene system because it really does work. It may take a couple of goes, it may take a couple of weeks, it may even take a couple of months to get that down pat, but it is incredibly important making sure that you are practicing spiritual hygiene, making sure that you are looking after your own mental health and your needs because we cannot work and fill other people's cup up if we are not filling our own. Boundaries have always been very foreign to me until the recent 5 years or so. And being able to set boundaries is incredibly important to me, because I am then able to give what I give during the time frame that I am working. So please, if you are a practitioner, look after yourself because you are so important to other people that if you do not look after yourself, then you cannot help anybody. A well integrated practitioner does not need to convince you of their power. You will feel calm around them. You will feel clearer around them. You will feel more yourself around them, not more dependent on them. And that is a really important thing. When somebody says that they are the oracle of everything and that you must only listen to them, run in the opposite direction because they will get offended if you don't agree with their point of view. We're here to educate. We're not here to take away people's power. And now's the time we talk about Patreon. For those of you that don't know, Patreon is a platform where I can speak a lot more freely. Social media tends to moderate what I say, and I always get up someone's ass somewhere along the line. But I can speak freely on Patreon. I'm often on there on lives, at least once a week, sometimes more. My next live is actually the day this podcast comes out. So Wednesday is my next live. In Patreon, you get discounts for one on one readings and workshops that I'm running. My next workshop is on Friday, the 24th, which is Thursday evening in the US. If you cannot make it, you will be sent the recording and workbook. That will come out within 5 business days. The alignment code is all about bringing self concept and empowerment and manifestation all into one big bubble so that you understand that your energy, your thoughts, your belief in yourself does affect your manifestation power. So that workshop is 2 hours. That's on Thursday, US, Friday in Australia. Then what else have I got this weekend? I am just looking. Oh, on the 26th, which is, I think it's Sunday, an evening with a Matilda. That's really whatever time of day you are in across the globe. I have a large evidential mediumship group. These are great. I love them. Lots of energy in the room. I do between 8 and 10 readings, depending on time. Goes for about an hour and a half, sometimes runs later than that. But that's where you get to watch me work, where you are, it's like sitting in the audience of a theatre. That is currently up. I'll add it to the links. And that's about it. Connected Circle is on the 27th. Again, connecting with your guides, learning about intuition. This month's workbook has already gone out. So if you're in the Connected tier, check that you have your workbook. But I'm going to give a shout out to all my new Patreon members, Pink and Green Cat and Nicola Dunn, Kalia, Susie, Vanessa, Tyler, Hippie Mystic, Amanda V, Shelley, Wendy Wanders Off, and Brittany. Thank you for being a part of Patreon. I hope you're enjoying it. Lots of things in there for you to learn and grow with. And I will be in the chats every week. Before I jump into my predictions, I'm going to talk about another event that I have coming up with Laurie Rivers very soon. On the 16th of May, we are doing another charts and channeling covering June, July, and August. The amount of predictions that we made in our 2026 year ahead are phenomenal. Loads of them. We talked about the Iran war. We talked about the glacier melt in Switzerland that caused the resort to be taken. We talked about many, many things. And that is just proof that she brings the charts, I bring the channeling, and we make really spot on predictions for what's coming in over the next period. This time we have kept it incredibly cheap. We're only covering 3 months, June, July, and August. We are talking about global events, energy shifts, everything you could possibly need to manage and navigate the next 3 months. It is just $50. And if you can't attend, again, we will send you the full recording within 5 business days. The link is in my show notes, and you can find the link on Patreon, on my link tree, which is on all of my socials as well. But come along, it is an amazing event. Don't forget to bring your snacks. We tend to run over. We tend to run into the 2 or 3 hour mark with these events. Bring your snacks, bring your drinks, and come and see what's in store for the next 3 months. I recently came across a video that I made on TikTok in April 2024, and I was talking about Trump having dementia. In the comments on that video were, I don't think he's got dementia. I think he's fine. I think that you're just making it up. That was 2 years ago. And I said that he was sundowning then, and that has increased significantly since he became president of the United States. I also made the prediction about the oil refinery in Melbourne. I have talked about what happened with Melania. I have talked about how the Epstein files would be handled. I have talked about, sadly, the earthquake that happened in Japan last night. And all of these have come in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I cannot attest a time to predictions because sometimes I'm not shown. I get a feeling of whether something is imminent or whether something is far away. So some of these predictions that I'm going to give you may be repeats, but they feel closer now than they were when I originally gave you their predictions. I feel like there is going to be a real run on earthquakes over the next month, going towards between now and the end of May, early June. These include the top end of New Zealand, Tonga area. We're going to see another earthquake on Australian shores, but I feel like this is Darwin or somewhere, maybe Catherine, but certainly Northern Territory. Anthony Albanese is going to come under increased pressure where we may see a vote of no confidence against him. Pauline Hanson is likely to be arrested or accused of criminal acts, or somebody connected to her is going to be accused of criminal acts. The United Kingdom is going to see increased violence over the summer months where there is going to be more riots. Again, and I made this prediction 2 years ago and it happened, I'm seeing the night courts being used to get through the amount of people that are rioting. I feel like there is going to be a terrorist attack in the United Kingdom. It feels like it's a one person, maybe not an explosive, more like a physical attack. Um, but it's going to be attributed to a terrorism organization. We are going to see increased attacks on synagogues, Jewish schools, as the next month goes on. This will be globally, but I do feel Australia and the United Kingdom in particular. There's something very unusual about something happening in Parliament in New Zealand, like makes massive headlines. It could be that somebody passes out or has a medical event in Parliament in New Zealand, or like someone has to leave suddenly. It's a really weird feeling. It's like a rush of having to run out of um, Parliament or taken out of Parliament. Uh, Benjamin Netanyahu is facing death threats. There could be an assassination attempt against him. And we are going to see an increase in Trump's mental and medical health be front and center. I do think that they are going to attempt to remove him as president within the next month. Now, I remember on my 2026 predictions that I made in December, I talked about him not being president in or being removed in April. Something about April was really significant. I'm gonna I'm not gonna say that I was wrong, but I feel that he's constantly handing over his power to other people because he's incapable of being the president. Weather feels massive gale force winds are going to affect many areas of the globe to the point of being in the news. Like when I say things, I mean they're going to hit international news. Um, a, m- a monument is going to be toppled, whether that's weather or rioters topple it. That's what I'm being shown. Like a monument or a statue to somebody is going to, and it's around the time that there is incredibly difficult weather. The United Kingdom is going to be under heat alert in June. June, July, like heat alert, highest temperatures ever. And flights around Europe, trains around Europe are going to be cancelled due to conservation of fuel. Right. What do I see happening in Iran and in the Hormuz Strait? I think we're going to see an open close, open close. I think that there is damage to a ship coming in. It feels like a US naval ship. And I think there's going to be a submarine. There's going to be something to do with submarine. It's either stuck, damaged, has to be brought up, need help with. Last time I did a prediction about a submarine, it was the submersible. Like a week before that happened, the submersible went down. I said that some submarine was going to explode, and it was the submersible. All right, I'm going to leave those predictions with you. And we're going to talk, we're going to do our meditation next. Take a moment to get comfortable. You may wish to sit with both feet on the floor or lie down and allow your hands to rest loosely, gently closing your eyes to make yourself feel comfortable. Take a slow, deep breath in and a slow breath out. Bring your attention to your own energy. No one else's, just your own energy. Imagine your awareness gently drawing back from everything outside of you. Conversations, opinions, expectations, comparisons, and noise. Just gently allow your attention to return to your own space and ask yourself gently, am I making this harder than it needs to be? Am I overthinking? Am I giving my power away? Am I focusing more on others than on myself? Now imagine placing your attention back into your own energy field, your own space, your own path, your own responsibility. You are allowed to move at your own pace. You are allowed to develop trust in yourself. Take a slow breath in and slowly breathe out. When you are ready, open your eyes. Doing your own work is one of the most stabilizing things you can do. Not because you become perfect, but because life becomes simpler, clearer, more grounded. From that place, discernment becomes easier. Because you are not looking for someone else to tell you who you are. You are already know. Thank you for being here with Beyond this week. If this episode resonated, you may enjoy the deeper work inside my Connected tier or in Patreon, where we focus on intuition, guides, boundaries, and developing trust in your own perception. Let me know where you're listening to me from. Let me know what you're up to this week. And if you're in one of my events this weekend, I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for joining me on Beyond This. Have a great week.